All right, good morning, everyone. Really good.
I know, you for most of the training camp you had everybody around, but just the first 2 weeks you haven't had Jack for pretty much, say for that first possession. Dwan was sort of in and out there against Baltimore. Just how difficult is it once you get in the game to get that cohesiveness, that cohesion that you've needed to help the overall, the overall process?
Yeah, maybe I feel this way because I've worked with the position so long, but I think continuity of that position in particular, that position group where you need 5 guys to see the game through one set of eyes. Continuity is ideal. It's what we all want. I certainly feel like myself, Ben, and Sanders are better coaches when we have our starters in there, like everybody in this world. But we also know the reality of the National Football League. It's going to be a next man up, and ideal situations don't always play out. So to answer your question, it's not ideal, but we also have trained people who are professional football players that should be able to step in there and get it right. From a communication standpoint, I think when you talk about what Ethan Posick does by giving us clear points and a clear understanding to make sure we are seeing the game through one set of eyes, and that's his, and the communication between Joel and the tackle and Wyatt and the tackle, those things, like whoever's in there, those 3 vets are doing such a good job getting us on the same page.
Assess the run game through the first 2 weeks?
Yeah, I don't think it's where we want it to be. I won't lie to you there, and I think had too many times in the first game where we weren't headed the way we wanted to be. I think you looked at what happened in the second game, and aside from the first series, I think we did a pretty good job getting hats on hats and moving some people. So I'm pleased with the progress from week 1 to 2, and I think anytime you're that's really what you want to see from your group in all areas is the big growth from week 1 to week 2, but there's certainly more steps I believe we can take.
Packers and with them adding Parsons to that defensive front, like what have you seen from him on film, and how much are they moving him around, do you think?
Yeah, I think typical Micah Parsons stuff. Like you look at the breakdown in one game 1 versus game 2, and one game he's primarily on the left, the next game he's primarily on the right, and he's also going to be at the 3 technique. He's going to be over the center. He is everywhere. So what have I seen from them? I've seen 33 quarterback pressures and 8 sacks. It's a really, really good front.
That there's been some miscommunication, some missed assignments on the offense that's leading to some of the ailments that you guys are looking to clean up. When you think about it, is it more miscommunication? Is it more you need to work on technique? Is it like how do you clean that up in this week when you're looking at what has maybe gone wrong?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things, and it's almost play by play, and it's different people. It's not always the same person. It's nothing like that. It's we've got to continue to get time on task with our reps, and we've got to continue to have people do their job. I mean, at the end of the day, this is a business, and it's a performance business, and we all know their jobs, and I got to do a better job making sure everybody knows who they're assigned to, how they're supposed to get there, and then we got to get them there.
How is Dwan doing from a performance standpoint, and then also supposed to be really hot again on Sunday, and might you guys have to give him spell him a little bit occasionally again?
Yeah, that rotation will come down to Kev and what he thinks is best. I thought that was a good idea to kind of have the preemptive strike and get him some rest. I thought it was I'm a kid from the South, and I thought it was pretty warm the other day in Baltimore, and he's got 120 pounds on me, so I can imagine he thought it was warm too. So, again, we'll see what Kev wants to do from a rotational standpoint. But you ask how he's playing, and I think, you look at the second half of football there in that game against the Ravens, and it's the best football we've seen from Dwan with very good strain and some very good things. Now, again, there's still a rep of pass pro. We've got to clean up. We've got to get to the point. This is not good job, you're making progress. This is you've got to get your job done every play in the National Football League, and especially at his position. We know how quickly everybody in the stadium will see it if he doesn't.
What is the best half that you've seen from him? What was he doing better than you had seen earlier?
I think anytime you have an opportunity on a down block to take number 0, Raquan Smith, and put him into the ground on the other side of the formation, that's good stuff. And that's the violence and the expectation of physicality we have for our room. And so just to see him do those things and strain through some of the things, through the hot weather, and just continue to play and take steps in every area, not just the run game, but take some better steps in pass protection as well. And there's still so much more out there. There's no telling how much more progress we can make with Dwan, and we're going to keep working towards it.
Okay. I know Dwan and some of the other guys on that O-line, like every year in training camp, they talk about going against Miles and how helpful that is. Like I guess when you think about another edge rusher coming in, like Micah and the other ones you guys have to face, like how helpful are those reps, not just in the practice, but in giving guys confidence going up against guys like that?
I'm not sure how much confidence you get from going against Miles. And it being my first training camp here, I would say I didn't enjoy every moment of training camp going against Miles. What an outstanding football player he is, and so glad he is going to be in our locker room on Sunday. But you're exactly right in terms of how it prepares you to go an elite versus an elite guy. And he jumps in there during one-on-ones over the guard and over the center, much like we just talked about with Micah. So it is helpful to have one of those freak shows, those werewolves line up across from you and give you the reps against somebody that is that dominant of a player.
Have a guy like Micah that moves around as much as he does. Is the communication imperative? I mean, how do you send help when you don't necessarily know where he's going to be from down to down?
Okay, you're asking for the game plan. We can't give you that. No, there's a lot of creativity that has to go into it, but the communication is of paramount. Like anytime we want to find an opportunity to get extra hats on him, the other thing we can't sleep on is when we talk about this front, we got to talk about 52 Rashawn Gary too. Like he's a dominant football player, and so the fact that they have both of them makes it even harder to address just one issue. So again, yeah, we've got some creative ways to do it in this plan, and hopefully you like them on Sunday.
Obviously, the hope is Joel's going to be able to play, on Sunday. The expectation is he will. But that said, if, the back tightens up or whatever, Tevin, just what have you seen out of him, getting to work with him this offseason, this training camp?
Yeah, Tevin's gotten better and better every week we've had a chance to work with him. Like you go back to the first preseason game, and I didn't think he performed anywhere near he was capable of, and he's built on those performances, and he's continued to grow. I think myself and the other coaches in the room have a lot of confidence in Tevin if he is the one out there. The experience he had in Chicago, whether it was playing tackle or playing guard, this is a guy that's played a lot of football in this league and played good football, and we certainly would expect him to do the same. But I'm going to be right there with you on Joel. I think Joel's playing as good a football as anybody in the National Football League at the guard position. I think Wyatt's really close behind him. So I love what those guards are doing, and we certainly want him out there. We want Tevin to have whatever role we can get for him. But at the end of the day, I believe this in my core. Joel is like the modern gladiator. If he can walk, I believe he'll play on Sunday, and I appreciate that so much.
One of those backup guards, Zach Center. He's been inactive these first couple weeks. What does he need to do to kind of get called up?
Just keep working. We love Zach, and we love the progress he's making. And again, I've mentioned it to you before. I believe, I don't feel like he had a rookie season last year. He certainly didn't have a rookie off season. So he's not doing anything wrong. He's just continuing to grow into the NFL football player we want him to be.
What have you seen out of Jack this week, and are you optimistic that he can get out there?
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that thing goes, and he's another one. Certainly a better coach when he's out there. So we'll see, and ultimately Kev and Jack will talk about that.
What about the tush push for a second, and what you've seen with the false starts, and is that something that you guys would try to do? Do you have that in your repertoire? And what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, the tush push, I'm not sure Joe will be Jalen in that regard. They're very different in terms of their makeup and everything else. So I don't know that we'd ever get to a point where we're asking Joe to quarterback sneak it 4 or 5 times a game and have everybody pushing on him. But at the same time, I think it's a very effective play. I have a lot of respect for how they run it. I just think there's more creative ways that we can do similar things and get the surge that we want, the physical get-off that we want out of our 4-point stances where we're able to move people. I mean, that's what we talk about in short yards and goal line in our room is we've got to, if ball's on the 1-yard line, we got to score with our man. We got to get our man to make this job easy for the back. And got a lot of confidence in our backs and in Q to run this thing downhill and go get a yard, even if everybody fell down on the field. We got a lot of belief in him. So you combine those two things, and we should have a good way to move the sticks in short yards and goal line and continue to be able to excel in those situations.